Well, good morning. It is early-ish. I just took Smokey out for a walk, so back in my comforting spot. My back feels better. The other day I was saying how I took a run and how I hurt myself running in my back. I'm not sure. But, I didn't even take anything for it, so it wasn't like necessarily that painful, but it was definitely aggravating in different times. It's much chillier, which is wonderful because you guys know I hate the summers here. But the winter has shown up and I'm just hoping that it will snow pretty soon. I don't think that's going to happen, but still, there's always hope, right? I did make a beef stew, which was really good. And what I realized is it's easier or better to make a stew overnight, because then when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to make breakfast. And then Donnie can take it for his lunch. And then if there's anything left from after I've had breakfast or lunch, then he can eat it for dinner, and I don't have to stress about that. And then I just put something else in the crock pot for the next night or the next day. So to me, I just realized that really, really works. So yay for that. Seems like I get a glare on my glasses. Anyways. One of the things I found and I started to research a little bit about is beef organs. Now, there's a big debate about whether or not beef is good when you have kidney disease, because it can be a more difficult thing to process down, I guess. I feel like beef is perfectly fine because it has the things that you need in it, and you can't substitute it with plants. And because when you're on dialysis, your dialysis itself is going to pull your potassium, proteins, and other little things, then you have to extra put in order to keep yourself at a healthy level, because your dialysis is going to pull it out. And so if you see me grubbing down on some steak, well, just because I need it. And even though I do iron shots every so often, I would rather eat a steak than get an iron shot, because those are pretty fierce. In fact, iron is so thick that they typically will inject you with a little bit of saline to help open up your vein in order for you to be able to take in the iron. And I have had my vein blow before, and that is a burn that is fierce. It's not impossible, though. I always think of my pain tolerance is this close to natural labor? Because I have done that plenty of times. And usually the answer is no. So, except for, what really sucks is food poisoning, because you don't get a baby at the end of that. And I always tell my kids, if you have food poisoning and your body wants to throw up, throw it up, because it literally is begging you to get rid of it. So however you want to get rid of it, do that, because it's just easier and then you feel better. So, but natural labor was not the worst thing ever in the world, although it was very difficult, but I've had babies, and that's wonderful. So anyways, back to the beef organs. I started researching because I kept seeing this thing about primal, oh gosh, what is it called? Primal women? Primal beef? Primal organs? Anyways, so what they do is they take grass-fed beef, specifically, okay, so it's going to be nothing else but the beef. And then they take the heart, the liver, the lungs, probably, those things that we don't really think about eating, that we don't think about that we are eating, and grind it into a powder that you can take like a supplement. And so I went ahead and got Ancient Nutrition's brand of Once Daily Organ Blend of pasteurized beef and lamb. Grass-fed liver, heart, and kidney. That's what I'm taking. Now, the lamb is from New Zealand, and New Zealand has the best rules, the healthiest rules for their livestock. I mean, bar none. I'm very confident that this is a good brand and a good thing to do, I'm thinking. I'm hoping that it's a good thing to do. One of the reasons I'm taking it is because I feel like those organ meats have so much good value of nutrition that I don't have to feel like I'm pounding myself with steaks, even though I love beef. It kind of helps ease up that stress of having to continuously eat, because a lot of times I'm not hungry, and sometimes I'm sedentary. Isn't that the sand? Isn't that the soil? Sedentary. Because like yesterday or the other day when my back was hurting and I had to rest it for quite a big portion of the day, I just didn't have time. I just didn't have energy to go, walk a lot, even though I did take Smokey out for his walk, and I took him out twice actually. But I just have days where my body's like, we're not doing this. So a lot of times I do become sedentary because my body's just saying no. It's just saying, we can't do that today. We're not going to do that today. We are going to rest. And that's perfectly fine. And when you first get on dialysis, it's a little bit frustrating because you're so used to go, 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 that you almost start to feel guilty. And you can kind of beat yourself up about it, but don't do that, because your body is telling you it needs to rest. And even when we're healthy and we have our kidneys and we're functional, la, 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 our bodies still tell us we need to rest. And instead of getting in the habit of ignoring it and pushing that, we really should just embrace it and say, you know what, I need whatever you want to call it, me time, girl time, family time, downtime, Netflix and chill time, whatever it happens to be. Sometimes that's just what you need to do. And so I think I've embraced that this year, because it's taken me, this is my 4th year, almost 5 years of being on dialysis. And I'm barely able to be like, yeah, I'm good with this now, because I do feel guilty sometimes. Or there'll be days when I know that Donnie's like out in the snow, or it was a horrendous, rainy, stormy, cold, frigid day, or extremely hot, like we have a heat warning and he's out there, and I'm like in here in the air conditioning, like Netflix and chilling, and there's no dinner, there's no laundry, the dishes are still sitting there, I didn't vacuum. Like, I can beat myself up about those things, but thankfully I have a partner who doesn't even care. He's just glad to come home to somebody who's happy to see him. So, so I am so grateful for that too, by the way, because I don't have to worry about that. I think that my biggest demand is Smokey, because I have to take him out. As you just heard him probably right now. I have to take him out to go potty in the morning, and then at night I take him out for a few moments. But, make sure he's fed and stuff. He's like my little partner in crime. Although the other day I did take him with me all the way to DaVita because I had to pick up some supplies, and that was fun. Although I rolled down his window, and he has never acted like he's wanted to jump out. Like, it's a moving car. I assumed an animal would know, like, I shouldn't jump out. But when we were at a stoplight, I looked back, and he had his paws over the window, and I was like, oh my God. So I rolled up the window really fast, because I was like, I'm not going to lose you on Speedway and Tucson Boulevard. Like, holy cow. And that's U of A area. So I could not even imagine how to get him back in the car, because I would have to end up stopping traffic, trying to lure him back in. That would have been a hot mess. And I don't know why he was doing that. Maybe that's just what dogs do, like hang outside the window or something. I don't know. So, there is those responsibility things that we need to do. And sometimes our bodies just say we're not able to do it. And so one of the things I found that I really have gotten back into is my embroidery, and then also crochet. Now, my mom, so here's my little project right now, and I just love this fabric. Like, this yarn is really soft. It's very thick. It's a very thick yellow. It's a very thick yarn. But But that's what I've been working on lately. And my mom is a big crocheter. She can do anything with crochet. She can read it, write it. I don't know. There's like a crochet language for each like loop things you can do. I'm barely beginning, and I just watch it on YouTube, or I find a reel that I like that has a pattern, and I just kind of figure it out. I take a lot out because I'm still learning. But if my body is like, you're not moving today, you're going to rest, then why not do something creative? You know, I also paint. And so depending on, you know, whether I have Charlie, because I can't have paints out when I have Charlie, but if I have Charlie, then I go ahead and do things like crocheting or even my embroidery, or, you know, he and I will read books together and stuff like that. So you just have to find things that'll kind of keep you a little occupied, so that that stupid guilty feeling won't come into you, because there's no reason for it. You don't have to feel guilty about sitting. But what I do find with this stuff is that I do feel a bit more energetic, and I feel like a little bit more like awake and alert. I also don't feel as hungry, because sometimes, typically, I would eat my meal around 1 or 2, and then when Donnie got home, depending on what we're doing, or what I know the weekend is, because our schedule is so crazy, sometimes we'll end up eating like at 9 at night, 9 or 10 at night. And I don't like that, because I'm not moving enough to burn that off by the time the next morning comes. And so, although I have been going to the gym, so I'm trying, but still, you know, I don't want to eat that late. And so what I find with this is that I don't get that late night cravings like that anymore. And I went ahead and bought some popcorn, because sometimes I feel like I need salt. Does anybody else feel like there's times where you just need chips? And I don't think it's actually the chips that we want. I think it's the salt. And so I listen to that, because I'm like, if my body is wanting salt, maybe my sodium level has dropped. And sodium's important, even though we have to be mindful of it, because on dialysis, you don't want to get puffy from retaining too much water or liquids, because that's what sodium does. But in Tucson, Arizona, where we're sweating most of the time, it's vital. Otherwise, we die. So I decided maybe popcorn would be an answer to not eating chips and not eating late night snacks or late night meals. I did get, this is off of Amazon, and it's like $25. So it's not cheap. And I did not find, I don't think there's anybody insurance wise who pays for it, at least in my situation. And so it's just kind of out of pocket. But I am taking 1 a day for the first month. And then when I get another bottle, I think I'm going to do every other day, just to see how that goes. Because I don't think that the way that I eat in general and the way that I am active, I don't think that I have to do it every day. I think I'm just going to do it every other day and see what happens. You know, you never know. So, all right, I think that's all for today. Hope you have a good one. Drink your water or your tea. Bye.